This is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my labor and delivery story. So Grayson is right here. He is sleeping. He's had a rough couple of days, as you might know from my last post. Grayson has been on and off being sick, kinda. He has had a very bad upset stomach because of the formula. His stomach is getting used to it because he was on strictly breast milk, but my milk supply is slowly dwindling away, and it makes me very sad, but hey, it's okay. As long as Grayson is eating, that's all that matters. So yeah, so anyways, I'm just going to go and get right into this labor and delivery story because it is quite a long story. So my water broke exactly on my due date, July 17th, 2018. It broke around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I had just gotten back from Walmart and I was picking up a few things that I needed last minute for the hospital in case I were to go into labor. I had also picked up some stuff for inducing labor in case I did not go into labor that night. I was going to be trying some natural labor inducers to go into labor that night, but the odds were in my favor and I ended up going into labor on my due dates. So my water did break at 2 o'clock, around there. I had texted and got Alan up and told him my water broke. I texted my best friend and told her my water broke and that I was heading to the hospital, and basically it was just a straight shot from there. I went to go pick up Alan. I packed up everything in the car. That's basically what we did. We just went to the hospital. We didn't stop anywhere because obviously my water broke. Water is coming out, well, amniotic fluid is coming out of me like non-stop. I stood up, puddles would form underneath me because my water was leaking below me, and it slowly would be like trickling little puddles to big giant puddles, and this didn't stop for quite a while. Yeah, so we went into the emergency room of my hospital because you have to go there when going to labor and delivery. So I told them my water broke and that I'm in labor pretty much, and they were like, okay, have a seat, we'll have somebody come down and get you. Then 15-20 minutes go by and then they finally come get me, and let me tell you, waiting that 15-20 minutes was the most uncomfortable part of my beginning part of my labor because, one, I'm sitting there wet and feeling gross as ever. Like, I just did not want to deal with it anymore. It was so uncomfortable. When they came to get me, I stood up and a humongous puddle formed underneath me. It wasn't embarrassing because, hey, it's not like I can control it, and kind of like I'm in that mindset of I don't really care if there's water pouring out from underneath me. They've seen everything before, so basically wasn't that embarrassing. So yeah, so my best friend met up with us and she sat in the waiting room for quite a while after we went back because she could not go back with us. Only 2 people are allowed in the room, where for my hospital no more than 2 people can be in there, which really sucked because I know Alan wanted his mom in there, and I would have liked it for both moms to be in there too because they're both, like, I'm really close with both his mom and obviously my mom. So yeah, my hair's tickling my neck and I can't move it and it tickles. So I was in early labor for 11 hours before my cervix started to finally dilate. And let me tell you guys, that was probably like one of the most frustrating parts of my entire labor because my body throughout this entire labor just would not cooperate. It was so frustrating and just overwhelming that it was so bad. Like, I was so frustrated. So basically they came in and they did my IV and everything like that. They told me I could eat, do whatever I needed to do, like I wanted to do, which I didn't know that I would be allowed to eat. Like, whenever you hear people who are in labor, you always hear that you cannot eat during your entire labor. Um, you can only eat ice chips and all this, but my doctor told me that I could eat anything that I wanted to, but to just keep in the mindset that there is a chance that I could throw everything that I eat back up. So she told me to keep in the mindset to not eat too much. So that's what I did. I ordered one meal while I was in labor for the full 26 hours that I was in labor. It was he talks in his sleep. But I didn't even eat really any of the stuff that I did order because I was just overwhelmed. Not only that, they were giving me fluids through the IV, and I had a weird reaction to it. When they first gave me it, I had a really weird cold feeling throughout my entire body, which I think that is normal. But I also had really bad breathing trouble after they started giving me the fluids the first time. I don't know if it was just because they gave me it on like a high dosage for my first time ever having fluids in my body. Shh. I think I fixed the problem. Somebody was hot. My bad. So basically they brought my food in, and I was having trouble breathing, so obviously I did not want to eat and swallow when I was having trouble breathing. Whenever I was breathing in, it felt like water was in my lungs, kind of like. They did check to make sure that I had no fluid going into my lungs, which was really scary because it did actually feel like water was in my lungs. Whenever I breathed in, I had that feeling of when you have, when you're really congested and a lot of like fluid comes up when you cough. I had that kind of feeling. It was a really bad feeling. I did not like it. It hurt really badly. They had to stop my fluid completely for probably like an hour to 2 hours, and then they started up my fluid again on a very low dosage, and then they rose it up as time went on, and it didn't happen again. Thank God, because that was really scary. My cervix did start dilating after 11 hours, which crazy. Time did go by super duper fast. So whenever you guys hear labor goes by, feels like it goes by super duper fast, it really does. Honestly, like it did. It went by super duper fast. I could not believe how fast it went by. It didn't even feel like an entire day went by. When I was in labor, it felt like it was just the night that I had, like one night that I had him. Like I went into labor at 2 and I had him at 9. It felt like that. When really I was in labor for 26 hours, which is crazy. So when I started to dilate, I got to 4 to 5 centimeters dilated, and my doctor told me that she wanted to put me on Pitocin at that point, and I told them that I wasn't going to go on Pitocin until I had an epidural done, because already at 5 centimeters my contractions were super duper painful, and I did not want to, well, they weren't super duper painful, but they were very uncomfortable, and I did not want to wait to get the epidural until they were super duper bad, to the point where I wouldn't be able to handle it, which by the time I did end up getting the epidural, they had gotten to really bad, so didn't really matter at that point. So with the epidural, some hospitals don't let people stay in the room, but my hospital, the anesthesiologist was very nice and let both my mom and Aylin stay in the room while I got it done. This was probably one of Aylin's worst, like, not favorite parts of this entire labor process, because he hated seeing me in pain. And what I mean by that is he watched them do all the stuff with the needle and putting everything in. He just hated seeing me in pain, and I think the worst part of it all was He could not be there to help the contractions any because I was having contractions during the epidural being put in. Shh, it's okay, it's okay. So, I think I had 1 or 2 contractions. My doctor, I'm so glad that I picked the doctor that I did, guys. It was so nice to have a doctor who was like super duper supportive. She was so nice. She literally sat next to me and like held my hand and was like there the whole time. Like, she did not leave until the epidural was done. Another thing is, I think the reason why a lot of people get so like nervous about the epidural is because a lot of people talk about the needle. But honestly, the needle does not stay inside of you guys. It's a thin tube, just like an IV that stays in you. It's just a thin tube. They don't keep the needle in when they do your IV either. It's just a tube to put in the medicine to numb you from the waist down. So it wasn't that painful. The only thing that was painful was when they were putting the stuff into me. It burned a little bit, but definitely was not as bad as the contractions or anything else. It was definitely not that bad at all. Honestly, I was super duper thankful when I did get it because it helped me sleep a little bit. Unfortunately, it did not help me for my entire labor, unfortunately. So yeah, they checked me. So I got the epidural at 4 centimeters, and they checked me again about 2 to 3 hours later, I'm pretty sure, and I was at 5 centimeters. And at this point, I started to feel a very, very, very weird pressure starting. And all I could tell you guys is this pressure feels like you're constipated and it hurts. Like, it wasn't too bad at the beginning. Like, I could still sleep in between the pains and stuff like that. I could not feel any of my contractions. The only time that pain came was probably during a contraction, because they did come and go. So they just kept, throughout this entire thing, they kept rolling me on one side. Since I couldn't feel anything from the waist down, they had to roll me over and everything because I was numb from the waist down. I couldn't feel anything, couldn't move, my legs were jelly. They really were. They checked me, and when I was 5 centimeters dilated, they said that they could feel his head pushing down on my cervix, and that was the pressure that I was starting to feel. And that was really scary because the fact that they could feel his head already and my body was only dilated to 5 centimeters, that really concerned me because he was trying to come when I was not fully dilated. At this point, they were just basically letting my body dilate and everything. Around probably 8 centimeters, 7 or 8 centimeters, I told them that the pressure was getting really bad, and the nurse said when you start feeling this pressure nonstop and that you need to push, you need to tell us right away. So probably not even half an hour later, I don't remember times or anything, guys. I didn't even know when I had him, like the birth, the time of, like what the time he was born was, until after I had him, like 2 days after. Basically, about half an hour later, I was 9 centimeters dilated, and I told them I had to push. Like, I could not continue to go any longer without having the urge or anything. So my doctor came in, and the anesthesiologist also came in. I was given an extra dosage of a different numbing medicine because the pressure was so bad, and it hurt really, really badly. It was just, they tried to give me numbing medicine, but it did not work. I still felt all of the pressure. It was just basically numbing medicine on top of what epidural I had already had in me, so nothing really helped with the pressure that I was having. My doctor did stretch my cervix to 10 centimeters, which hurt a lot. it really did hurt a lot to have it stretched out and everything. It's just not comfortable. I could feel everything happening at this point. So everything was basically numb. It obviously took away some of the pain that I was having during birth, like some of the pain when he was coming out was gone, but I pretty much felt everything else. Like, I could feel it all. I was pushing I went and started pushing, my mom said, at 4 o'clock, and I had him at 4:36, so I was pushing for 36 minutes, and he finally came out. He was being very stubborn, though. When I was pushing, it hurt really badly, for one. What was I saying? Oh, it was hurting. It hurt really bad. Like, I just did not want to continue. I was so tired. Like, I had no more energy. It was just bad. Whenever you do go into late, like when you do start pushing and everything, you have breaks in between until that head comes out. When his head comes out and his shoulders are starting to come out, you don't stop pushing. Oh no. That pain that you're having makes you not want to stop pushing. You will continue to push and push and push and push until that little one is out of you. I'm telling you guys, it hurts. Like, his shoulders coming out was one of the worst things besides his head. I did not tear, I did not rip, I didn't do any of that, so thank Lord for that. But he was being very stubborn coming out. Whenever they saw his head, he would wiggle himself back down, and that is why it took so long for me to get him out, because he just kept wiggling himself back down, and he had to be a little bugger, but he's kind of made up for it because he sleeps really well, so gotta give him that. But basically, he was born at 4:36. He weighed 7 pounds 8 ounces. He was 20.5 inches long, and he had a 13-inch head, so he had a big head. He also came out with all of the hair that he has now, so that's how much hair he has. It's kind of hard to tell. He has a lot of it, but it was a very, very long process. I knew Alan was exhausted. He was just done. He hated seeing me in so much pain. I felt so bad. It was just a lot for both of us, but we brought this little one into our life, and we would never take it back, no matter what. We love him with all of our hearts, so this is officially Grayson Michael Nowak. He's sleeping. We also think that he's going to continue to have blue eyes because his eye color is not changing any. He does have black hair, so he has Alan's hair, which I'm glad about, and he's really healthy. He was on breast milk strictly in the beginning, but since my milk supply went down, I've been just giving him formula. So I hope you guys enjoyed my labor and delivery story. I know this is not where I typically film and how I typically film and all that kind of fun stuff, but I'm in my mom's room right now because we have some stuff going on in my room, and I'm holding little one, and I don't have my tripod with me right now, so this is the best I had for you guys, but I hope you guys still enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye guys.